Good evening and welcome to a very special second chance. My name is Philip Jones.
Oh,
Today we have two special guests with us today, Mr. Keith Edwards and Miss Alex Rosa. Two people that have also been on this show in different capacities. So great to have you, wonderful people, back on with us. Today we have a interview with Mary Wells, breast cancer thriver, which she likes to call it, and that's a great way to put it. Um, Mary, we appreciate you coming on. How are you today?
I'm doing well. Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's such an honor to have this opportunity to share and to encourage others.
Well, we appreciate you coming on with us. Mr. Edwards, Miss Rosa, you guys have anything to say to the people before we get started?
Ladies first.
thank you. No, I just want to welcome everybody, and I'm so happy to be here and to be honoring Miss Mary Wells. She has become such a great friend, such like a sister to me, and we are both very near to each other, but have literally never met in person. But I talk to Mary pretty much every day, and I've loved getting to know her. And her story is so powerful, and I can't wait for her to share her story with everybody so they can love Miss Mary as much as I do.
Well,
Awesome.
I'll go ahead and really just start with it's important to take care of yourself. Um, we all have many responsibilities, and but don't forget to take care of yourself and your health. And so there was a time about 8 years ago, being newly married, being a new parent, re-entering corporate America, in a position in which I worked in human resources. Um, but I was taking care of everyone else but myself.
Mm.
And so the signs were there. The health warning signs were there with regards to fatigue, pain, loss of energy. However, I was taking care of everyone else but myself. And so I put off appointments. So there's a key right there. I put off appointments that I knew that I needed to have scheduled. And so I knew that there was something wrong with my body. The signals were there. However, I held off going into a new position until the health insurance that I had was much more enriched than my husband's. So I finally went for an appointment because my OBGYN found a lump on my right breast. And I went to see the breast surgeon, referral. And the surgeon had done some tests and said, "Can you come back tomorrow?" And I said, "Tomorrow?" I said, "No, I'm not coming back tomorrow. I just started a new position. I just can't just take off like that." And so the surgeon said, "Well, can you come back the next day?" And I said, "The next day?" And I said, "Well, do I need to?" And he said, "Absolutely." I said, "Well, okay, I'll come." And he said, "Bring your husband." So I did. That was the worst news I had ever heard. The surgeon got right to the point. He said, "You have breast cancer. We need to immediately take your right breast. It is spreading quickly." I was told on a Wednesday, and the surgeon wanted to do surgery 2 days later, that Friday. Literally, I lost it. I said, "Wait a minute, this is too fast." I said, "You just told me you just gonna just put me in surgery, just cut me up." That was literally what I was saying. That's the frame of mind that I was in. The first thing I thought about was death, and being a new parent. And my child was only two, and my only child, the only one that I could have and was blessed with, and a family. And you're telling me that I'm going to die. That's basically what I thought. I was not in relationship with the Lord. I was yelling and screaming. And so the surgeon said, "Well, I'm going on a conference next week. We need to do this surgery because it's spreading quickly." We're going to need to prep you. You're going to have biopsy. All of these things need to be done. Let's do the surgery the following Friday. And I agreed, literally walked out, left my husband, went straight to the breast center. They were ready and took me to the back. And that began the actual journey. And so 5 years of treatment, 18 weeks of chemo, 30 days of radiation, 1 year of Herceptin treatment. The cancer was gone after having the mastectomy. However, I had never had any health issues. So the oncologist put a plan together and said, because you've had no health issues, we're going to give you the most strongest plan there is. You will be able to go through this. It is going to be intense. You are going to lose a lot. And we will see you, the surgeon said, on the other side, and your plan is being put together. And so that was right. The mastectomy was the easiest piece. If someone had told me what I would have to go through, I wouldn't have done it. But having lost so much, actually gained so much more, because from the pain, from the loss of weight, the loss of hair, the loss of memory, the loss of even being able to raise my right hand, my arm, to stretch it like this, the loss of nails, not even being able to walk and stand at times, birthed my purpose. And I always wondered when people said, oh, it was through my sickness that I found purpose. Oh, I understand it. Because what I went through is for everyone else. It's not just for cancer thrivers, it is for anyone, because everybody is going through something. It's their crisis, it's their situation, it's their circumstance. And I was not in relationship with God, even though I had grew up in the church, taught Christian ed director, Sunday school, vacation Bible school, could teach the word of God. But when the situation went down, I went out the door, because I really thought that I was being punished. I really thought that God was upset with me and that I was being punished. But that was not the case. And so during this 5-year period where God orchestrated me to be in a corporate position, to work with people I had never worked with before in my life, he brought people in and out, in and out, in and out. But those were the people that he sent to do their assignment on my journey. See, when we go through things, we can't do it alone. We can't do this life alone. And so he brought people to speak words of encouragement into my life when I couldn't. I was a mess. I'm talking mess. I'm talking crying, boo-hooing, woe is me. But the people around me would not accept that, because they were God's people and they saw more in me than I could. I would not even lift up my head. My confidence was gone. And I still had responsibilities. I still had to be a wife. I still had to be a parent. I had to reacclimate myself back in corporate. And I could not get my thoughts together. I could barely walk. I could barely stand. However, the environment that God put me in was the environment to help me to become stronger, to thrive, to speak those words of God's encouragement into my life. That's how there's one word: encourage. All you need is a word. Look, we need a word. And now, we need a word now more than ever, but we need a truthful word. We just don't need anybody's word. We need a truthful word. And so as time went on, I am actually, I had, as I had mentioned, the plan, but I also caught an airborne virus because I went into the office on a non-chemo day and was hospitalized and quarantined. My own family couldn't see me. And so I could not go back into the office. So I said, oh my goodness, I'm going to lose my job. And because for 60 days in a new position, I was still a good worker, I still could produce high volume. God allowed an opportunity for a non exempt employee ever in a corporate environment to work from home. To work from home, just prop yourself up and type. I couldn't write anymore, but I could at least do like this. I couldn't raise my arm, but God had given me the strength for 2 months to work from home and still receive income. That's God. I can't explain that. You can't explain that. Mhm. And so when I returned back to the office, here I am, 18 weeks of chemo, and I get called into an executive's office to say, hey, Mary, there's some women that have been newly diagnosed with breast cancer. Can you speak to them? Oh, speak to them. You want me to speak to them about what I've gone through and give them some encouragement? Yes. And that's what began the being an encourager. That's how the encouragement expert began. But I didn't know that I was being prepared for the purpose to be an encouragement expert. So you can only be an expert through your experience, to have gone through something in order to be the expert, because you lived it. And you lived it so that you can share it with other people so they can live it too. And it's almost like you're in this race and you're getting to that finish line to pass the baton, to pass the torch, but you never leave the winning circle, because somebody, just like on this platform, is going to nominate you to share the story. That happened 8 years ago when I was diagnosed. And so here we are on the other side to share the story. People need a word. And you will never know where this particular testimony is going to reach. One word, encourage. I need God's words of encourage. And I need to share it worldwide, because people need to thrive. Cancer isn't the only thing that I've encountered as a circumstance. That's just where the purpose was birthed. And we're continually going through things. We're going to continue. How am I going to win? How am I going to continue to win? By remembering what I went through. If I went through that, if I went through this, and God has brought me from this, He will continue to do so. Because we will never, ever be the same, look the same, feel the same, have the same situations. We won't. How will we grow? And so that's pretty much the overview of the journey. The journey is through the pain. There's purpose. From that purpose, it helps to serve others. The words that come out of your mouth are your life.
Yeah.
It is. Whatever it is that you say, first of all, you've already believed it here in your heart. It's going to come out. It's just like taking in food. Our words really are our food that we take in and we show it out in action.
Yeah.
So, when I look back, and one of the main things that I was concerned about was, at the time, I was a corporate woman with long hair and, that corporate aura about oneself. I'm going to lose my hair. That was the first time. Am I going to lose my hair? Yes. And health professionals have to tell it like it is. They can't spoon feed. This is what's going to happen from what it is that you take. Yes, you're going to. Oh my goodness. However, the texture of my hair, I love, because it's curly and I don't have to do that much. I have to do that much. It's just, I always wanted curly hair. hey, I received curly hair. But I'm so grateful. But when I finally saw myself without hair because I had a custom wig, I was like, you don't look that bad at all. So I started wearing very low cut, like guys, a fade. And gentlemen would come up to me randomly and say, hey, where'd you get your fade done? Because I love it. And I kind of smiled like if they only knew the story. But but I'm grateful in all things. And it was from that journey, I still had not rededicated myself back to God. I was still going through and growing and going through things. However, other things happen in which you say, okay, I understand why this has happened. Just as those people that God sent to serve, I need to serve others. And I'm not going to complain. Why am I not going to complain? Because I'm sinning against God. Complaining is a sin. Complaining is you don't trust him. Complaining is that you are not happy and content where he has you. He has you there for a reason. Number one, he's going to work it out, and it's the best for you. And I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful, to even be able to use my time wisely. That's key. When we serve, just like giving this time to someone, it's being used wisely. Someone needs it. So someone is going to be inspired. Somebody may share this to someone else who might have just been diagnosed, or maybe it's for someone who may have lost someone. Maybe it's for someone who's a caregiver. It's an honor to serve. You want to know why? Because God has trusted you, that you've been through something and you can share that to help serve someone, to help someone, to come alongside someone and help them. People need help. You have to be honest. Jesus had 12 disciples. And as we're serving, we're also teaching, we're also leading, not by what we say, but how we live and how we treat one another. So I'm going to say hi to everyone because I'm seeing everyone saying hi. I haven't even said hi yet. I just got right on into the testimony, because the thing about it is that we all have a testimony, but will we share it? Will we share it to help someone? And if anybody knows, your testimony is help. It is support. It is a resource for someone else. And we're grateful for that. I didn't know if anyone had any questions. I'll take any questions.
Well, we do have one quick question in the comments before I keep showing the rest of them. And like Mary said, hold everybody who's watching right now on LinkedIn, YouTube, our various platforms that we're on today. Let me find it real quick. Wait 1 second. I just pressed it. Oh, too far.
Phil.
Yes, sir.
Now, this is Keith. Miss Mary, you know what I started thinking about as you were talking? I started humming, so I had to make sure I was on mute, right? And I can't sing, but a little song came to my head. I was singing, "Nothing you can say can take me away from."
Yes,
right?
yes. I get that all the time.
And yeah. And I was like, why do I know that tune? And I said, hold on, that's Sister Act. And I said, okay, hold on, Sister Act. That's actually a song from a great Motown hit by Mary Wells, right? And as you're talking and you're talking, giving your testimony, the relationship with God, I just had to share that. But I think that's very powerful what you're saying. And I
That's
can't
a
sing, so nobody
yeah,
talk about me.
that's a great song because really nothing should take us away from our guy, the guy
Yeah,
of all guys.
the
So
guy.
yes. Mhm. I see a main question here. When did you find God in your journey? That's a great question. It's a great question. I found God in my journey. Actually, God kept coming up, and I kept shaking my head.
Mm.
So, um, as time went on in the department in which I worked, um, there was a change in management. And so I understood and realized that we were going to have a new manager. And what was interesting was that I had to be one of two people that interviewed the manager because that's who you're going to report to. So I said, okay, I interviewed the manager. And we were like, she's the one. She's the one. And we were so excited when she joined. I had planned out her whole calendar. And I wasn't even there the first week that she started, but I planned everything out for her. I come back and I find out that she was so excited. Everything went smooth sailing. And so as time went on, I ended up reporting directly to her. Um, I called her boss lady. And she is actually one of the 7 people that are dedicated I wrote a series, a trilogy journal series, and we can talk about that a little further along. But she kept saying to me, I'm not going to let you walk around here with your head down. And I can tell that you have lost your confidence because of this journey. Do you understand that you are a walking miracle? Do you understand what God has done and what he's doing and how he's working through you? And she said, I have the gift of prophecy. And I don't even know if you know, but I'm a minister and I have the gift of prophecy. And you are going to do some great things. You're going to go back to church. You're going to rededicate your relationship. You're going to do some great things. And I looked at her like she had a third eye. Right. Hmm. And so every holiday, we had a big team. She would call us all in, we'd sit around a circle, and she would buy these gifts, big gifts. And so the very first year she did it, she would always type up this very nice message about each person. And she had put in there that I was a walking miracle. And she actually bought me this beautiful mirror, beautiful big mirror, and told me to hang it up. And before I walk out my home every morning to look in it and to see how beautiful I was, that point there was starting to be the change of seeing God in my journey. And so she kept saying to me, she really took me under her wing. And we didn't always agree. I would roll my eyes and, just disagree and she'd give her side eye. That was a key word back then that we would use. But she was like, you can give me side eye all you want to, but I am going to put you in a position where people are really going to see your skill set and you are going to continue on and go to another position, a higher position. And sure enough, that did play itself out. And I'll never forget, we went to a coworker's wedding together, and she said to me, Mary, what do you want to do? And I didn't say anything. I just kind of looked at her, and she was like, you know what? You're going to end up being the owner of your own business. That's what she said to me. And she said, you know what, Mary? You're going to do great things in the kingdom. And I was like, okay. I was willing then to accept that. But it all played itself out. And she will always be boss lady. Whenever we do have our times where we touch base on LinkedIn, she is boss lady. But it actually came through a change in management and someone that I reported to who is a woman of God and spoke life into me and really helped me to regain confidence and see the beauty in myself.
Mm.
I
Beautiful.
see all these comments on here. I want to say hi to everybody.
Say hi. Say hi, Mary.
Okay, so I'm saying hi to Maureen. Hi. Oh, hi, Sissy Rolanda from Pittsburgh. Hello, Anthony Reed. Am I cancer free now? Yes, I am. Cancer free. 8 years. Thanks be to God. Yes, yes. Let's see. What drives me to do what I do? What drives me to do what I do? Wow. I'm gonna have to say the why. The why is my son. And when that diagnosis was told, it was actually I had to live for him. He was only 2 at the time. I had to live to I didn't end up having a child until later in life.
Mm-hmm.
I had a child. And when I start saying these numbers, some of you guys may fall off your chair or your mouth may be wide open. But to have a child at that time, getting ready to turn 41, was huge.
Yep.
I didn't think that it would be able to happen for me. And it did. And then 2 years later, cancer. So my why was my child. I had to live for it, right, Caleb? And it is still that today. Legacy now, leaving legacy. And he is actually the person that's at 10 years old now, sets up my media when I come on. He takes a lot of the pictures. He shares with me new technology. He calls himself the tech enthusiast. Now he is an entrepreneur. He has a t-shirt line, Be Blessed, in the One Word Encourage LLC ministry. But he is the why. And then to add that on, God provided him as a blessing to be a blessing to me. Because when I was going through treatment during the chemo phase, all I could do was lay down in bed. And he would open the door, peek his head in, close the door. And sometimes come up to me and look and smile and go. Because I couldn't take care of him. My husband did. And so that was inspiration to see his smile. He still has that smile today with those dimples that just melts my heart. But my son is the reason. I thank God for giving me the blessing. And also, of course, as God has blessed me, I'm to be a blessing to others.
Beautiful. Miss Mary, can I ask you about, I hear when you talk, I love watching you talk, and I hear the shimmy shake when you start talking. And so I see some of those bracelets on your wrist, and I saw some pictures because you're on Instagram, right? You're kind of like all the places, right?
Yes, I am on Instagram. And what's interesting about Instagram is there's a story behind this. I'll call it a brand, this name. And it's Where's Mary CLE. See, I'm from Cleveland. I'll point that way, Ohio. And so one of the things that I love to do, I love to thrift. I love to find a good find. And so before there was even this thought of One Word Encourage, I would just get on social media. Now you got to think, we're going back to probably 2014, 2015. Go on social media and just tell people where to get good deals at these hidden gems, these thrift stores, I'd be in the deep in places that people look on the outside and be like, and I'd be like, and I would find the good deals and I would wear them, just like what I have on now is one. And so I would tell people what to wear, but I had to spell it very differently that stood out. So there's a Wears, WEARS MARY. I'm from Cleveland, so the 216, and so that's where I am on Instagram. So these bracelets, let me tell you about these hands. I was not even able to, I had neuropathy and I still have it. It's a side effect of chemo. It's not as strong, but it's this tingling numbness where I can, move my fingers, but I can't feel anything. And it's also in my feet and toes as well. You can walk, but you can't feel anything. So I was not able to hold the pen. We'll pin that right there. So these bracelets are handmade. And this very first one is, it's rhinestone, it's handmade, it's on my arm. And it is for breast cancer survivorship, thrivership, we are strong. So that's with the pink one. And then I have a saying, keeping positivity in my mind. Well, when we think positively, there will be peace. So the color of green. So we have the positivity and peace bracelet. I don't have all my bracelets on me, but then we have bracelet. And then I have these are on my arms, Thrive. Mm-hmm. But these are all handmade from a dear friend of mine. Her name is Dr. Monica Best. And I remember when I knew that I was diagnosed, who are you going to tell? Because I didn't even tell my mother. My mother couldn't handle anything like that. Didn't tell my sister. So I had to take the strong of the strong, call them, and tell them. And I only told them maybe I only had less than a week. Make a long story short. So I called my dear friend Monica. My husband said, you know what, Mary, you got to let her know. You've known her for the longest. And I was like, oh, no. I said, well, if she picks up, I'll tell her. If she doesn't, I'm not leaving a message. She didn't pick up, so I didn't leave a message. But see, Monica knows me because we were roommates in college, so she knows me pretty well. And she was like, something's not right, because Mary always leaves a message. She called me, and she was like, hey, what's going on? And I was like, I have something to tell you, and it's very serious. And she was like, okay. So I told her, and she was like, let me call you back. She had to get herself together. But to make a long story short, I was telling her about these bracelets. And before I left corporate, I'm not really a drawer, but I use quarters and sketched these bracelets. And I said, I'm looking for someone that can make these bracelets. And it ended up her daughter wanted to help. Her daughter was in high school and said, you know what, Mommy, I want to help Miss Mary. I'll make the bracelets. I will sit there. We will find the beads and I will make the bracelets. And actually it's her daughters, who one is now in college. And they come together and they make these bracelets by hand. I pick the beads. I come up with the theme. I come up with the message. And they have done, there are people that have bought the bracelets I don't even know, but are referred, and the story is shared, and people buy them for other people, for other people that are survivors or somebody needs encouragement. We also have a color in sapphire blue for faith. But it's amazing how people, they just want to help. It says a lot for a parent who has taught their child to give. For a teenager, they could be using their time for anything. And this particular teenager at the time plays basketball at a college level now. But yes, so the bracelets, yes, they all have a meaning. They are all handmade. They all come with a nice message and in a nice bag. I guess I could run across here and show you.
Caleb.
Hold on. Since we're here, we're going to do a little show and tell. Is that what we're going to do? Don't go on. Do not show them SpongeBob. Okay.
Mary.
But anyway, so this is the, I'll show you the faith, which is the sapphire. So it comes in a nice, and usually there's a message inside. And so I hope I'm holding this up right. Am I? I
Yeah.
gotta go this.
See it?
Yeah, we can see it.
And so, and then we have the, so for the positivity and peace, they'll come just like this. Mhm. So yes, thanks for mentioning the bracelets.
Mary,
That's
do those bracelets come in any other package that you have or anything else that you've put together?
They can be bundled.
Mm-hmm.
They can be bundled, along with, wow. I wasn't prepared for this particular piece, but thank you. There are t-shirts. There's a positivity and peace t-shirt line, so that's green. There's a breast cancer t-shirt line called Strong. There's the one word encourage logo line, the original. We will be coming out with the new logo very soon. There is a newly created t-shirt line. And the thing about it is when we go through things, we're newly created. We're not the same person that we used to be. So we have to embrace the new people that we are when we have made it to the other side of going through a circumstance. We also have a t-shirt line called Working Hands. There was a time when I couldn't use these hands, but now they're working hands to serve others. So those are the t-shirt lines. And then the very first offering that we've ever had came from me not being able to journal. And it is the One Word Encourage Trilogy series. Here it is right here. And when I thank you, oh, there's so many comments coming up and I'm trying to catch them. I want to say hi to my dear sister, Trina Poole. Pin her right there. We'll get right back to her. But this is the One Word Encourage Trilogy series. And I had mentioned that I was not able to hold a pen and that I was journaling, but I never thought about someone journaling for me during the journey. So that's what this very first one is all about. You journal God's word A to Z for victory. But it's just not a journal. It's actually action plans. So you have a letter and a word, you have a scripture, you have some bullet points, and then an action. And it goes from the letter A through Z. Now, I really thought that I was going to be done. Okay, because this is really for the caregiver. To help someone, to encourage someone. On the back, the journey. I really thought that this was it. And anybody can use this for their circumstance. Maybe you know someone that's going through grief and they've lost someone and you don't know what to say. They're not going to journal, but you could journal for them and gift it as a gift. I thought that was it. That's it. Good. I'm an author. And the very first one went international to the Netherlands. Oh, no. From your pain, you have a ministry. You have a business. So here's the promise. Your business is God's business. You don't own anything. You may think you do, but you don't own it. It's His. It is Him who you work for, even with your time and talents, wherever it is that you work. That business, where you go to, is His. So, journal out His promise. Thought that was it. Yay, I've done 2 journals. Yay. Nope. Because cancer isn't the only thing you've gone through. You're going to continue to go through stuff. You're gonna have to thrive. You're gonna thrive. And so we journal out these words. And again, it's kind of like I wanted to. God had said to me, make it almost like when people see this, they know that this is a continual series. Life is a journey. Life is a journey. So that was the very first offering, was I'm going to give back by creating journals. Because we, not only is it what the word is, okay, you put into action, write it out. You can go back to it. Or maybe you want another set. There are people that actually, they gift them. That's their way of sowing a seed. That's their way in which they give. There are people that can't afford it. So they'll buy a subscription, 3 months, 6 months, a year, and say, hey, you give them to whoever you know will need it. So we do that too. It's a way of giving.
You know, Mary, the one thing that I really love about that, especially that first one, and I kind of wanted to throw this to Keith a little bit too, for both of us coming from the healthcare provider perspective, we know that caregivers, that the family members and the people taking care of the patients sometimes need just as much TLC and care and attention as the actual patient. So I kind of wanted to know what Keith's thoughts, like nursing perspective kind of thoughts were on this journal that you have especially for caregivers, that you intended to be from a caregiver you. So I wanted to kind of know what Keith thought about that.
No, thanks, Alex. You know, and that's a very good point, because a lot of my background is in the dialysis space, and with this being National Kidney Awareness Month, one of the first things I asked Philip was like, "Are you sure you want me to be on?" Right? But I see why he wanted me to be on, kind of a maestro in it. There's so many similarities to what I've seen patients go through in their process, right? And the thing that came to my mind is caregiver role strain. And it's so real. It's real in dialysis. It's real with those that are challenged with breast cancer and any disease process. And this, so as you're talking about the things that you have, I'm thinking about how those things would bleed over, no pun intended, into the world that I'm in every day. All right. And then another thing, the enthusiasm that you have and just talking about your journey. It reminds me of Philip and Tafaro and all those that I've had a chance to meet. And I'm always marveled at just the, specifically with breast cancer awareness. And Alex, you may remember this even in nursing school, right? How the education is implanted early, right? And so the question I wanted to ask both of you is, as far as the awareness and then finding out about your diagnosis, the stigmas that were related to you, did you feel like there was a mountain of support? And Alex, for you, as far as just the education that you received about, just the different things that you can do for breast cancer, as far as in the prevention aspect, if you could speak on to that.
Oh, sure. Mary, you can go first. You the guest.
Oh, real quick, I'm sorry. Before we go into that answer, I'm gonna do this commercial real quick, and then we can come back to that question.
Okay.
Welcome back to a second chance. All right, hey, get back into this wonderful story. I believe it was Miss Mary. I was getting her to answer a question.
I'm sorry, what was the question again? I think I
Yeah, yeah. Let me simplify that question, right?
okay.
I prefaced the question by just talking about the lane that I'm in with patients that are dealing with end stage renal disease, and I see where the tools that you have could definitely benefit in that space. So, the first question I had for you, Miss Mary, was the fact that um, if when you found out when you found out your diagnosis. Can you kind of put me in the mind frame of the people that were around you, the support that you had around you, or your want to talk to those around you? Did you feel? Can you just tell me how you felt during that particular moment?
During that particular moment, um, there were a lot of emotions. There was a lot coming all at once. Um, and I really felt, um, I felt hopeless. I'm just going to admit it. I felt like, I don't know if I know that I can do it, but this is too much. And I also at the same time felt ashamed. I felt ashamed to the fact that I was never going to be the same again, that I was never going to look the same again. Um, and that um, it was going to be intense. It was going to
Now,
be
did you
intense.
have the?
Hmm.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. But did you have a rally of people in your inner circle that has seen breast cancer or knew of someone with breast cancer and therefore was able to give you words of encouragement even in that moment?
In my inner circle, no. But what is interesting is that in with prior employers, I was in HR and I actually implemented breast cancer campaigns and worked with ladies who were diagnosed and helped them through, going out on leave and returning. That's very different from it actually happening to you. And so, even though my inner circle had never experienced it, they were definitely around me. They were not going to accept that I was just going to lay down, that I was just, it had reached a point where one of my, I call it co-survivor, because right there with me, there was one of them who actually served as the mother figure. Keep in mind, I couldn't tell my mom. My mom couldn't handle anything, nothing like that, because my mom worries. And so she said, you know what, I don't have a job right now, but you know what I'm going to do? I'm not even going to start looking. What I'm going to do is whatever it is you need, wherever you need to go, I'm here. And so she actually would be with me when I would go in to meet with the oncologist before the treatment for that particular day happened. Because I lived at the time, on the east side and had to travel all the way to the west side. Wow. So going from Cleveland to a suburb that's far out on the west side, it took some time. So the plan was we had to keep her here basically all day on a particular day so that she can have about 4.5 hours of chemo. Wow. And so as time went on, this particular care co-survivor was the one who said, come on, now you're going to have to stand up, you're going to have to walk, you're going to have to hold on to this cart, and as we go grocery shopping, you're going to have to just take step by step. I cannot allow you to just not do anything. Even eating, you're going to sit up in this Bob Evans, and you're going to have to feed yourself. You're going to have to do these things. It's a rebirth. It's okay. You look great. Rock the short hair. And so that was one particular person who served in the capacity to say, I'm right here with you. Mm-hmm. Even when I caught the airborne virus, I called her. She said, just bear with me. It's 2 a.m. Southwest General Hospital had just opened their new emergency. And I was one of the first patients. Thank you. As my child brings me a brownie. Thank you. Okay. I'm good to go. But going there and traveling in the winter, and it was a bad winter, ice on the road, 2 a.m. So she was one. And then Dr. Monica Best, even though she's in Pickerington, Ohio, I'm going to pray for you. And then, my son's daycare, we will arrange special arrangements so that your husband, if he takes you to your appointment, and if you're late, we're not going to charge you aftercare. But then in the hospital, I was assigned a nutritionist, a social worker, a nurse. So had people making hats, was given a quilt, just all kinds of blessings that were given. But that inner circle, I had another friend. No, Mary, come on, it's the holidays. You got to get Caleb something. We're going to go out here in the snow and we're going to go to TJ Maxx. Are you crazy? I don't even feel good. You got to get up. You got to get some air. So get yourself together. If I got to come and help you get dressed, I needed that kind of push that was needed, because they weren't going to let me just lay around and lay down all the time, So yes, they were there. Yes, they were pushing me to even during that, be great.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's remarkable. And Alex, I had a hidden agenda with that question. That support, you and I both know, we all know here, is that coaching, that support, that awareness from the people that love and adore you. That's the key, in my opinion. And Alex, the question I had for you, which was kind of layered in that, was, I know that in the space that you're in, teaching that to not only or specifically to nurses and students, that empathy and things of that nature. Could you speak on that? Because that's what I see in that, is that, understanding or having that empathy and then trying to support that person going through this process, and how key that is to them thriving.
Yeah, definitely. And that's why I really love that journal that you created, Mary, because it's such a great way to just start the conversation, because that can be that could be just the first barrier right there, is, oh, we can't talk about this. We can't talk about, because it's going to hurt somebody's feelings, or it's going to make somebody uncomfortable, or I'm not ready to face this as like the caregiver, as like the husband, the wife, the kid, whoever it might be. They're not ready. But I like that your journal just opens that door. Like, it makes you face that. And that's what you have to do. And just like what you did and what your team helped you to face the reality, the day-to-day reality. Like, Mary, you just can't lay around. Like, there's life to be lived. You're here. We got to live this life. And I think as a nurse, and kind of what I talked with Keith about earlier, like, you're talking and having conversations with your patient and preparing them for the reality of, after you leave this place, you have a whole life to live now, and how to do it. And so maybe we'll kind of teach you from the medical perspective, right? But that's why I like to bring my holistic stuff, because I'm like, you got a life, like, we got to teach you about the other things, but that's a whole nother thing. But then also teaching other healthcare providers and other nurses, this might be our day-to-day. Like, we might have 2 or 3 cancer patients that we're taking care of. So it becomes another patient to us. Sadly, that's what ends up happening. And that's why I'm like working to change through a lot of my education, but it just becomes just another patient. But for you, you're the patient, you're the only patient, and it's your world. and it feels like you're the only one going through it. And so we need to just really tailor what we're talking about to you, to that specific patient, and really getting to know them and talking to them. And that's why the hugest thing I teach is get to know your patient, talk to them. They're a person, they have a life. And just being able to talk to them and to know their fears and know their concerns and to see their family and to see what they do have to face when they leave, that can be such a huge part of how we tailor our teaching to that patient. So I really love your journal and what the message that you're putting out there and how you're blessing other people with your story and with all of these tools that you are providing for them. I absolutely love it. And I know that you are blessing people in another way with a kit that you have created. And I absolutely love this kit and everything that is in it. And every person that is going through this type of journey that you've gone through, I mean, it's such a great gift to give to somebody, but also to have for yourself. And I was hoping you could kind of talk to us a little bit about that kit that you have.
Yes, yes. They are the breast care awareness essentials kits. The essentials. I'll try not to get too teary-eyed and maybe break down, but I clearly heard God say, you got to go back to the beginning and offer offer the essentials, because I remember sitting clearly in chemo class before, starting even the prep prior to chemo, the journey, looking at everybody in that room looking scared. Mm. And one of the big dreams is to go into a hospital and to speak during a chemo class to say, you know what? There's no need to be afraid. Mm-hmm. This is the beginning. And to have essentials. So to go back and to have something to give. So, oh my goodness. Sorry, one moment. Let me get the kit.
Philip, you know I'm taking notes, right?
Trust me, I know. you and Cook are one alike.
You know that that brain is spinning.
Yeah.
That's why I stopped writing questions down long. I wrote about 7 good questions and I left it alone. I said, if I keep writing, I ain't gonna have no pens in my house.
And so the kit, to tell you about the size of the kit, it actually comes in a nice blue mailer. The kit itself is 12 by 10 by 4. This is one of 2 new logos. Let's do this right. And that's what it looks like. Mm-hmm. Hope I'm showing this okay.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, we can see it.
So our motto is there: sharing encouragement worldwide for you to thrive. Now, these are the essentials. And so we add surprise items in the kits. So each kit is actually different, but they do have these essentials. Mm-hmm. And so going back to going through treatment, you will lose your taste buds, your sense of, I hope I'm holding this up right, taste. So this is actually a double insulated, BPA-free, hot or cold mason jar for your beverages. And it has our logo. So I remember it got to the point where I was just drinking Ensures. That was it. Had no taste buds, didn't want food, couldn't even stand the look of food, didn't want food. And so I thought about putting something in you still. Okay. Next up, skin. Skincare is of the utmost importance. My skin was pretty much pale, sunk in. You could tell. And so Charlene Hibbert with Mary Kay Cosmetics put together these mini kits for skincare. But what is also in here are some eyebrow pencils because you lose your eyebrows. And so these are the kits with directions for skin. Next up, for the caregiver or whoever's going with you, is a journal. And inside the journal, you can take notes. Maybe the healthcare professional can write some notes. Your caregiver can write some notes. Maybe a reminder of your meds. But there's an actual journal inside. And along with the journal, of course, is a pen. This. And it doesn't turn on right now, but let's see, because this is my sample. Yes, it's a light as well.
Oh,
So this is very important because I remember going through one of my chemo sessions. My vision was blurred the whole time. It was blurred for about 24 hours. So the patient next to me kept asking the nurse to check on me because my vision was blurred. But this also serves as light. Of course, prayer. So we have a prayer card, and on the back of the prayer card, there are different scriptures. So there's a scripture, encouraging words. And then we have a lapel pin. And this is actually strength and the tree of life with ribbons. So I know I'm not holding this right, but here it is. And then we have a microfiber cloth to wipe down your area. We have the one word encourage magnet. And then you have to have a word of encouragement. And this one is blessed. And these are the essentials that go in the box. We have had people to donate boxes. So we've had someone donate from out of state 2 boxes to 2 local women's nonprofit organizations here in Cleveland. We have actually gifted a few boxes, and one of them I support. I'm part of a breast cancer awareness support group, My Sister's Keeper, here in Cleveland, and gifted a box to a kit to the actual founder who is a survivor. And she was shocked. She said, "Wait a minute now, the box is the business, Mary." I said, "Oh, okay, the box is the business." And we'll put a pin on that because more are to come. And we had a fundraiser in which part of the proceeds, we accept donations, so people can donate any dollar amount, and it goes right back into making more kits, more journals, more products and services. And the person that won the drawing actually gifted the kit to an actual person getting ready to go through chemo. So the overall goal is for the kits to also go into hospitals, to go into nonprofit organizations that support. The kit is essential. I wish someone had something essential and handed to me when I started the journey. But it's very encouraging. And also it's a great gift for someone who finishes or someone that's going through it, or the caregiver to help with the patient. Say, come on, you're going to drink this Ensure, so we're going to use this. Or, and let me give you a word of I'm going to pray with you, but And you might not know what to say, but here's a scripture,
Mm-hmm.
or you can just gift it because you don't know what to say. You might mail it, you don't know. But I want to give you something because I care. Mhm. So yes, these are the kits. They actually were launched last month. So we're excited. We're excited about the kits. That's 10 months in the
It's great.
making. 10 months, and I want to thank Regina Ragland, who actually is with, oh gosh, Essence Upscale Promotions out of Michigan. But I do want to say something also about community and about when you share your journey. Um, there's a wise woman that says that your name will be mentioned in rooms full of opportunities. And so there are a lot of people that I see making comments and are inspired and I'm grateful. But there's a community here that I don't even know if you know about. It's how I met Alexandria. Mhm. And it's called the Global Pep Squad. That is how I met Gracie and Dwellin and Rolanda and Trina Poole and others. But it was a way in which the ministry encourages, but it encourages through different ways. I'm here on this with this community, with this ministry, encouraging the Global Pep Squad, Tisha Hammond, the small business cheerleader. Um, it was through, her faith-based talk show that gave another opportunity for me to encourage, to get people engaged into a conversation, to encourage people that are in ministry and entrepreneurship. But the biggest picture is there was a time when I couldn't even think, when I couldn't speak, when I couldn't form my words. But to be able to come on and say, will you share your testimony or be a referral or lead a global pep squad or write for a women's global magazine about breast essential exams, that's a lot. What does it say? That God can bring you through anything, that there is nothing impossible. I would have never thought in the early 2000s that I would leave a corporate job, and go to those levels to do a purpose where the levels are unlimited and the people that you help and the things that you do are unimaginable, and so this thing here, life, we're going to go through some stuff, but let me tell you, the good stuff always outweighs the circumstances. So I'm very grateful for any opportunity that someone says, can you share? Absolutely. Because there was a time I didn't even know how to form words to share. I couldn't put anything together. I couldn't do anything. I was just there. But I didn't know that being there would be eventually for this time right now. So very grateful. And I will always say, there's just so much that has happened. And one word encouraged has been serving. It'll be 3 years in October. 3 years. Mm-hmm. And it's been an amazing journey. I smile. Do I have moments? Absolutely. Does it get overwhelming when I look back? Absolutely. Mm-hmm. But it's made me so much better than what I was. So much better. Thank you. Okay, you guys got questions?
Y'all got any questions?
I don't know if everybody's still on here. So let's see. What's up, good people? Oh, Trina Poole. I did want to mention Trina Poole, just the beginning of this year, she's an encourager too. And excuse my son, he's laughing. But she's been wanting us to come together. Hi, Sissy, Rolanda. To do something, to serve together. And we tried a few things. Excuse my son, Caleb. And, but then she said, Mary, the Holy Spirit told me that I'm supposed to serve with one word, encourage. And she's been blessed with a new position recently. When she said that, I was like, "Oh, okay, okay." So I sat down with God and put together a job description, and we met. And what should have been 1 hour ended up being 3 hours, and eventually she was like, "Yes, I'm ready," and she is our first staff member, and is our client services strategist. And I just basically said, this is what's needed and to go. And last month has been the biggest month. I mean, it's like, okay. And I'm a student too. I'm getting my second degree in theology, missions and ministry. And I'm like, whoo. I mean, you got all this. I mean, but I don't even have to think twice, because she's doing what she's gifted to do and serving. And so I'm grateful, because now God is bringing more people. We just haven't announced them yet. Mm-hmm. We haven't announced them yet, because I just wrote the job description.
Sounds like a follow-up interview coming up, right?
Yes. And so, but here's the thing, when we are focused on the one thing that we're good at, look, you need a word of encouragement, I'm here. But all that other stuff that people are good at, nothing do it. I don't do it. You can't do this by yourself. And my mind is always thinking, because I'm the visionary. That's what I'm to do. Big, think, encourage, speak. So now people are asking me, will you come and speak? Yes, I will. Yes, I will. Because there was a time when I couldn't even stand up. Couldn't even talk. Will I? Yeah. Because somebody needs it. Yeah. And I'll tell it in a way where, yes, it's serious. But it's comforting to know. Go through it. She went through it. She couldn't even use her hands, and she couldn't even think. She couldn't even sit up to eat. Couldn't even take care of her child. But it's all true. Somebody needs to not only see it, hear it, but maybe be in person to be like, yes. Be encouraged for the extra house. Yes, she is. I am here to serve. Okay. Hi. I'm still seeing these comments.
Yeah.
So Alex, I was sitting here, and I'm gonna completely be honest. I was letting Phil know. I said, Phil, you gotta have a follow up with her. We got to do something in the future to see, because I see big things for Miss Mary and everything that she's doing, and bringing awareness and support. And I see big things for everyone here. I'm like coming last to this whole effort. I'm in the corporate space and said, you know what, I can be doing more. And I get inspired by your story, the activity I see from Alex, the activity I see from Philip, and just going right back to what you said originally about just the importance of that spiritual relationship, and the environment and the opportunities that I've had to be able to say a word to a patient, say a word to a family, and how important it is for me to let it be the right words to come out, right? So definitely, Phil, uh, got nicknames for everybody. Philip, I'm good because I'm good only if this is going to be the first of many conversations with Miss Mary. If you're good with that, then we
I'm
definitely
good.
have to continue it. I've got a whole bunch of notes right here. And the
Okay.
thing that's so funny about my notes is you don't have to recreate the will. I had a conversation with Philip, one of our long-winded conversations that I usually have with him, in which I was thinking about things like the kits and stuff like that, and thinking about how can I have a more of a bandwidth with the coaching that I would like to do. And he told me that if I uh, stay connected, that I don't have to reconnect the will, or not reconnect, or remake the will. And so it's been a pleasure meeting everybody here, and definitely I want to stay connected with everyone. Alex, anything you want to say?
I second the motion to have a to have another meeting with all of you. Yeah, definitely. And Mary, I've told you so many times, like you inspire me so much, and we connect and we talk and we share our concerns, we share the good things that happen to us. And that's one thing that I love using my platform for, is really inspiring other people to share what they've gone through, and who they know and what those people have gone through. And because you're not alone, and you have special gifts and you have special talents, and there's always a way for you to use what you know and what you've been through to impact other people, how you're going to share your spice with the world, what's going on. And so that's why I love all of this, and I'm so glad to have been here, and definitely we need a part two.
Yes. Yes. I'm looking forward to it already.
Thanks.
Definitely have a part two for sure. Um, just wanted to say thank you to everybody who watched, will be watching in the future. We appreciate your love and your support. Please come back, join us again. If you have any comments or questions, please still drop them in the comment section. We always check them, and we'll get back to you. If you're, watching on Alex channel, she'll get back to you. Ms. Mary, did you connect your LinkedIn or YouTube channel to the live today?
I did not, but I can come back in the comment section and I will. I'll put everything up there.
And so whoever's you commented on, we'll definitely get back to you to answer that some kind of way. Ms. Mary, again, thank you very much. Very inspiring. We appreciate you taking the time to be on with us this evening. I know it's going to year end, so I'm gonna let all you Cleveland people get I gotta get ready. It's 9:40 out there. It's only 6:40 out here in LA. So I'm gonna enjoy the end of this sunlight we got outside. And, but again, thank you both, Alex and Keith, for joining us today. Definitely look forward to having you back. Yes, Ms. Mary.
I did want to say something. I wanted to give my website. So if for those of you who have never been to my website and you want to see all of the offerings, it's onewordencouragement.com. That's it. Spelled out. Onewordencouragement.com.
Yeah, I did put the Katrina posted it.
Oh, good.
So real quick before we get out of here, here it is. So again, thank you all for joining us. Trying to get 1 second. So next week we'll have Ashton Smith, Ashton on LinkedIn as well, and so she's gonna come on and tell her story. Has a very powerful story, actually, very similar to Miss Mary's, in a different aspect of inspiration and faith. So please join us. Come back next Sunday. Also during the week, during our Let's Talk segment, Mr. Cook will be back tomorrow. So we have a lot to talk. A lot of things have come up this weekend. in the transplant worlds that that we want to talk about. So join us, comment, ask questions, whatever you need. We're here for you. So everybody have a great night. Again, I appreciate you all for joining us, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Okay, bye.
Thanks, everybody.